Lately, I've been busy creating videos for our team, and there are still plenty of new listings coming soon. But at the same time, I've been getting a lot of questions from buyers asking, how the condo market doing? It's no secret that the overall condo market in the GTA has been struggling, and Markham is no exception. So in this video, I'm taking time to walk you through the major condo areas in Markham, share what's actually been selling, and give you my personal insights on where things stand. If you're on the fence about entering the condo market in Markham, especially now as we hit the halfway point of the year, this might give you the clarity you need. If this is your first time in the Living in the Greater Toronto Area channel and you want to know everything about living in the Greater Toronto Area, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market here in Toronto, Ontario. My name is Antonio and my business partner is Van. We get calls every day from people just like you, so whether you are moving in 9 days or 9 months, feel free to reach out as all of our contact information is in the description box below. We will be happy to help you make a smooth move to the Greater Toronto area. So now let's jump back in here at the map of Markham, and here is the number of condos that are listing currently in the region of York within Markham. Most of the cluster of condo is usually in downtown Markham where Birchmount and Highway 7 is. So we're going to explore a few major area that has the most density of condo, which is this part here, and here is also a common area within the Commerce Valley. So I'll walk you through some of the insights currently, or what is really selling at the moment in these two biggest pocket of Markham where most condos are. So let's start with downtown Markham, which is in the Uniwell area and also very near to the York University in the Markham campus, and also the downtown Markham where most of the action, restaurant and shops are located in within this area. And in the most recent years, most newest condo also are being built in this area as well. Now let me focus in this area and let's take a look at the condo that are selling currently in 2025, halfway through the year, which is in July 16, where I'm recording this video. So now let's take a look at the condo downtown Markham starting since July 1st. And these are all the sold condos happening in the month of July, and we are just recording this from July 16, and we have only 11 sold. So I can tell you so far this is not a good sign. I will show you what we had in the month of June to compare the number of sales. At a glance here, you can see that there are only about 3 units of 2 bedroom were sold, and there is only 1 unit of 1 bedroom that was sold in the month of July, and the rest mostly are the 1+1. However, you take a look at the square footage of the units, most of them are actually sold above 600 to 700 starting in terms of square footage, and only 1 unit that was sold between 500 to 599 square feet. So what does this tell you? Most of the units are sold for the end user, because most of the condo buyers nowadays are people looking to move in themselves. In other words, it's end users. And we have a good mixture of the 2 bedrooms, 1 bedroom and the 1+1 to compare with. And the most recent sales are on the top, and this is 8110 Birchmount Road, Unit 513. It is a 1+1 condo with 2 washrooms, sold for 580 between 700 and 799 square feet. This is a building built by Remington, which is one of the major developers here in downtown Markham. Let's quickly take a look at the building here. This is called Nexus North, and this building was built in 2014. According to Condo.ca, this is averaging 930 per square foot in the past 365 days. And this is a high-rise condo, again built by Remington Group, and there are a total of 14 floors in the building. Now quickly take a look at the exterior of the building. This is just across the Marriott Hotel condos, the Signature. So it's very close to the major intersection of downtown Markham, which is Enterprise and Birchmount. And this is the kitchen, and we have the fairly open layout between the living room, the dining area and the kitchen. And here we can take a look at the den area, which you can still fit in a bed here, which is quite nice in terms of the square footage. And here's the the look of the washroom. And here is the balcony. As you can see, it is just across the signature Marriott Hotel condos, right at the intersection of Enterprise and Birchmount. And here is the exterior of the building, Nexus. It is about 11 years old building, which is not very old at all. It is listed for $558 and it's sold above the listing price for $580. Well, you can assume that is a good sign, obviously, because it's so over asking. But let's take a look at the history, how much has come down from the peak. And here, one last look, we have an exact square footage of 740 above grade. So it is a fairly large 1+1 unit. Before we take a look at the most recent activity, let's take a look at what was the price last sold. And it took place in March of 2022. As all you know, the peak of the market was in 2022. That was before the rate hike. So for this same unit, it was sold for $808,800 in March of 2022. And this is a very common practice. It was actually listed for $688 for bidding offer and eventually sold for a whopping $808,000. So 3 years later, from 2022, well, March 2025, it was first listed for $669. And of course, there were several price changes along the way. It was not pretty and it was terminated at least 3 times, sometime in May and June. And eventually listed again for $558, and seems like they sold over asking from $558 to $580. But realistically, this unit had a loss of at least 28% from the peak of 2022 until today in 2025, which is sold just recently in July 16 for $580. And that is a total of 28% down from the peak. This clearly shows the struggle of the condo market overall, and there are really no exception in Markham. Now let's continue on the list, and the second most recent sale in the Downtown Markham unit well is One Clear Gate Unit 101. This is a 2-bedroom with 3 washrooms and sold for a whopping $1,090,000. And this is between the square footage of 1,400 to 1,599, and it was on the market for 38 days. So let's deep dive deeper, see what this is all about. As you can see, this was listed for $1,128,000 and eventually went under the listing price to $1,090,000. It did came down from the listing price, and as you can see, this is one of the more luxurious in Unitwell Markham. Obviously, you can see the European style from the exterior, and this is a low-rise building. The main feature of this condo are the luxurious and the size of the unit. And here you can see that everything is spacious, grand, and more of a luxurious feel. We have bedroom with beautiful, large European oversized windows, and the hardwood flooring is spectacular. And here you see the spacious stand that they have here, and here is an open concept kitchen and all ceramic tile throughout. You can definitely see how spacious the unit is. Here is another look from the exterior. And to be exact, this is 1,580 square feet. So it's a very sizable unit, closer to 1,600 square feet. Now let's take a look at this building, Ellington Park, which is at 1 Berkeley Gate in Unitwell. And this was built in 2008 and is currently averaging about $816 per square foot in the past 365 days. And as you can see, the square footage of each unit are quite large. It's between 1,300 to 1,400, and it's only a 4 floors boutique condo. So knowing that this average about 816, let's go back and take a look at the property history of this building and see the real situation of this condo here. The last time it was sold was in March of 2014, so it was roughly about 11 years ago. And it has almost doubled the price since the last sale. It was great if you bought it for quite some time ago. But let's quickly take a look. From Condo.ca, it was really averaging $816 per square foot based on the sale of $1,090,000. If we divide by actual square footage of 1,580, it is only giving us $689 per square foot, which means it was quite a difference between the 816 prior from the Condo.ca. It has been a tremendous price reduction. However, I believe this seller has been quite educated by the real estate agent, actually anticipated the price drop, and that's why when they first listed in June of this year, it only took them about 38 days on the market to sell the unit, which is quite good in this market. Now, despite being in this downshift market, especially for the condo market, I'm actually quite surprising that this unit over 1 million have been sold in this area, and that further confirmed with me that larger unit is actually selling because most of the buyers are currently the end user. So people looking for ready to move in units, and these are the type of condos that are currently selling in this market. Now let's get back to the list. And here we find the smallest unit out of the list at 278 Buchanan Drive, Unit 920E, which sold for $545,000 in July 14 and between 500 to 599 square feet on the market for 25 days. And it was listed for $580,000 and sold for $545,000. This building is called Unionville Gardens, and the exterior also looked like a European style building, and it is also a boutique condo. And here's the look at the inside here with the open concept kitchen and all hardwood flooring throughout, and the bedroom with a large window as well. And we have a great balcony here, and there are quite a few indoor swimming pools, and there are quite a lot of amenity in this building. And according to Condo.ca, it is built in 2020, which is less than 5 years old building, and currently averaging about 960 per square foot, and it has 8 floors in total. So it is a low-rise condo, and it is built for Wildview Group. I believe it's one of the Chinese builders. It is a very popular option here if you are looking for somewhat larger unit. Now let's take a look at the property history. It was being leased since 2022, first listed between 579 to 580, and eventually sold after almost a month, which is quite good in this market, for $545,000. And based on the sale price of $545,000 divided by the 506 square feet, it is currently sold for $1,077. Which is, I believe, it's quite good in today's market. I was kind of surprised that they went just right above 1,000 per square foot, knowing that the average for the past 365 days was just 960. So this is quite surprising for me that it sold over 1,000 in this current market here. As a summary, 1+1, just right above 700 square feet, was selling for about $580,000 from the most recent sale. And for a larger building between 1,400 to 1,599, it was sold for $1,090,000. And for the smallest unit here sold in the area of Downtown Markham, it's currently at $545,000, and you can get somewhere around 500 square feet unit. Now let's take a look at the other part of the Markham in the Commerce Valley, and to compare prices between here and the Commerce Valley. So now let's take a look at the map again, and as you can see, Unionville Markham here is usually the most amount of condo within Markham. And this is also where the most of the condo developments take place. But now let's take a look at Commerce Valley, where the condo development was developed here earlier, and I would argue that it's before the Unionville in Downtown Markham. Typically, the condos in this area are a little bit older, but let's quickly take a look and have a comparison and see what's the prices of condos is like currently in this market. So far, as you can see, there is really not much going on in July. We have only 3 sales total, and all of them being 1+1 between 600 to 699 square feet to as large as 700 to 799 square feet. So let's take a look at 325 South Park Road, Unit 116. And right off the bat, you can see that the prices is lower at $518 for a unit with this size. Compared to Unionville, earlier it was a little bit more. So this was listed for $499,000 and went up to $518. And it does also come with one parking. And according to Condo.ca, this is Eden Park 2, built by Times Group Corporation, which is a very reputable builder, and it's built in 2013. So roughly about 12 years old building, which is not too bad. And it is currently averaging about 840 per square foot for the past 365 days. It is a 13th floor building, which still considered a high-rise building. This is the Tower 2. And as you can see, the building is quite new here. And this is the exterior of the building. And we have a somewhat modern lobby. And this is the unit layout, which is quite open. The kitchen is pretty sleek and modern. And here is the other side of the living room. And here is another look at the kitchen with very nice tiles and also modern backsplash and a kitchen island in the middle. And just right across, you can see the laundry area with a stacked washer and dryer. And here's another look. And you still get an area for a dining table. And here's the bedroom with a textured wall, and it seems like a laminate floor all throughout. And here is the den area, which you can easily place a grip. And here is another look of the den area. And the washroom are quite sleek and modern. And it seems it's on the ground floor, but you still get a balcony, or you call it a terrace. So now to be exact, this unit is exactly 738 square feet, which is quite large for a 1+1 unit. This unit was last purchased by the seller for $512,500 in September 13 of 2020. And just 5 years later, the seller put it on sale in early May of 2025 for $650,000. Obviously, it was terminated end of May, and it was relisted for $549,000. Obviously, this is a bidding offer price. They were expecting $650,000 again when it was revealed by almost the end of June, and it was once terminated again and relisted in late June for $499,000. Obviously, this is a bidding offer price. However, it ended up selling for $518,000 in July 16, 2025. And as you can see, it was last bought for $512,000 and it was only sold after 5 years for $518,000. With the agent fee and closing costs, everything together, this is obviously wasn't profitable at all. And it took really quite a while to sell it since in May, so roughly more than 2 months, not as indicated as just only 23 days on the market. However, it does come with a parking, and this is definitely a good buy for the buyer, where at the peak, this easily will be selling over $600,000 in the year of 2021 or 2022. But now it has come down to $518,000. Now let's get back to the list here for Commerce Valley sold unit in July. And the next two sold unit was from the 12 Gandhi Lane and unit 2207 and 3608. Obviously one is with the 2 washrooms, so a little bit more than the other one. And the maintenance fee is also lower because this too is a newer building. So now let's take a look at this one here, which they were listed for $698,000 and so under the listing price for $668,000. Also come with a 1 parking, took 31 days to sell, and it is a 1+1 with 2 baths. And here is a look at the interior of the unit with uninstructed south view. And the kitchen is of course very modern and with a very nice hardwood flooring throughout with almost floor to ceiling windows. And here is another look towards the kitchen and also the dining table area. Here is the balcony view, another part of view where you can actually see the CN Tower from here. And there is a modern washroom. And to be exact, this unit is listed at 642 square feet, which is not bad for a 1+1 condo unit in a newer building. So let's quickly take a look at the property history, and it was last sold in March 29 in 2024 for $693,000. Fast forward to almost 1 year later, it was listed for $599,900, terminated, relisted for $698,000, which is really not that much off from what it was purchased for, and eventually sold for $668,000. Obviously, this price was under the last purchase price, which we know the market is definitely struggling. This is pretty much selling for a loss. Let's quickly take a look at this Pavilion Tower condominiums, which is located at 12 Gandhi Lane, and it is also built by Times Group Corporation, and it was just recently completed, so it's not even updated on the website yet. So this is a high-rise condo between under 41 floors. And as you remember, I'm saying this area is usually with the older buildings, but we have 2 new sold units in a very new recently built condos. As an example, the earlier building at 325 South Park was actually sold for $518 for actually a larger unit at 738 square feet. A rough estimation, it will be closer to $700 per square feet that was sold. As an example of a newer building, this unit was sold for $668,000, about 642 square feet. Therefore, it was sold almost closer to $1,040 per square foot. So newer building obviously is going to be more, just above $1,000 per square foot. And a building almost 12 years are selling about $700 per square foot. Obviously, the age of the building does matter, but you can get as low as almost $500,000 here with a larger unit in the same area for much less. But of course, older building, the maintenance cost usually is a little bit higher. So it really depends what you are looking for. And as compared to the lowest price point that we saw in Unionville Markham for a 1+1 condo unit, it starts from $580 in July of 2025. So here is a quick view at the condo market here at Commerce Valley compared to Unionville in downtown Markham. And these are the units that are currently selling in the area of Markham. So if you have any questions or requests that you want me to go through what are the type of units are selling in this really struggling market condo overall in the GTA, let me know so I can maybe walk you through that as well. Here's a quick summary of the current condo selling in Markham. While this doesn't cover every listing, it highlights what's moving in the market right now. Inventory remains high with over 7 months of supply across most of the GTA. Specifically in Markham, condo inventory is also around 7 months, clearly placing the market in buyer's territory. If you're a first-time home buyer, this is a great opportunity. There's a large amount of inventory that's been sitting on the market over 30 or even 60 days, and many sellers are becoming more and more motivated. It's also an ideal for those looking to downsize. Overall, this is an unusual market, one that clearly favors the buyers. If you'd like to chat or have any questions, feel free to book a quick call with me using the link in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.